Hugo Spoor. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a video editor, computer scientist, creative director, businessman, modern day Michelangelo, actually no, modern day Leonardo da Vinci. How do you grow your page and how do you plan on continuing to grow? First of all, let me just start off with a bit of a background. I've been designing since I was in the 5th grade. I downloaded Photoshop on my mom's laptop and I was like, yo, I'm just gonna do the 3 trials over and over. I'm gonna do the 30-day trial, make a new account, 30-day trial. I think now Photoshop only does like 7-day free trials, but for whatever reason back then they were doing 30-day ones. I was mainly just making memes, editing photos myself, my friends, I was like making myself into Iron Man. I was making Minecraft thumbnails. Yeah, I was just messing around. I've been doing this for a while. That's not even to flex. I'm not even trying to be like, yeah, I've been in the game for 9 years. Like, nah. Like, that's not even what I'm trying to say, because I spent like, out of those 9-ish years, I spent maybe like 7 just fucking around. And that 7 years could be boiled down to like 2 months if you just locked in and learned Photoshop. That would be 7 years of my experience, more or less. If you locked in every day, you were doing tutorials and shit, you would probably be better than me from those 7 years. I was just fucking around. I didn't really like watching tutorials because I sucked at watching tutorials. I always fucked it up for some reason. So I just learned how to use every tool, just like clicking everything and just trying it out. Eventually I learned, okay, these tools do this. I tried out some of these effects and I'm like, okay, some of these effects do this. I did some school, like some work for my school. Like my school made me make some jackets. That was pretty cool. After that, it was just me kind of just messing around, using this to my own like convenience. If I had like projects, I'd do some Photoshop projects, or, just some regular shit. And eventually COVID hit. I was in high school and I was getting into screen printing. And eventually I met up with 2 of my friends. One of them did business, the other one just recently hit up a manufacturer. I spoke with both of them about my screen printing, and then eventually us 3 came together, we held hands, and we were like, yo, let's make a clothing brand. And that's 99 Clover. I'm the lead designer. Like, there's so many different things to unpack. I feel like I'm getting so off topic, but that's kind of the background that's kind of necessary, Started this clothing brand in 2020. We blew up in 2021 in Indonesia. Locally, we didn't even know how to ship internationally, so we're only doing this all in Indonesia, and that was because of one of the hoodies that I made, which is, by the way, just pure eureka. Like, I didn't even like do any concept planning, whatever. I was just thinking in my head like, yo, this is exactly what I want to make, and I just made it. Blew up. Money started coming in. We started getting lazy. I could make a whole video just on 99 Clover alone, which I would love to do, but it's like it's whole ups and downs and a lot of things you can learn from. But the point is, that whole period of time, I was practicing. I was kind of learning some new stuff, but I was just practicing, kind of like, lazily doing it, and my design skill kind of grew even more. There'd be times where I really put in effort, there'd be times where I was really fucking lazy. Fast forward, shit, I should cut the vegetables actually. We're still going, and it's been 5 years since we started. But somewhere along those lines, somewhere in the middle of all of that, I started to kind of just like not really care about designing anymore. I just lost kind of my love for it. I actually was studying computer science, so I was getting, just like anyone that in your life that does computer science, I wasn't really that happy about it. And, it was kind of killing me a little bit. I mean, now I'm better. I actually started to develop some sort of like Stockholm syndrome for computer science, At the time, though, I was hating everything about it. I hated learning it, and it just kind of affected me and my creativity. It affected my just work ethic. It affected so many aspects of my life. And what ended up happening was I started losing my love for designing. I started just lazily doing this and kind of doing it as like a form of just money. Like I just wanted to make a quick buck. Just gotta do the bare minimum. Man, I was just not even designing anymore. Like my Photoshop like we had a release at one point in my Photoshop process. My process of designing and marketing this was straight up just, didn't even edit the photos from my photography. I just posted the photos as it is. Didn't do anything, didn't even try and make any creatives, I just didn't care. And yeah, we were just riding off of, you know, the initial blowing up. You're wondering why you've never heard of this before, even though we're 5 years in and we've got like 35,000 followers. It's because Indonesia has a giant population and we've just been living off of that. Now we finally, you know, done international shipping, so we don't really think about that. What was I even at? What was I even saying? My love for design was just dying. I was just getting lazy. I wasn't really doing much. I just stopped caring. Just, you know, was floating and coasting. And I had, at this point, this is like 2023, right? This is around 2023. I didn't learn anything for the past like 3 years on Photoshop. I didn't watch any more tutorials because I already like know how to do shit. So I just stopped learning. All I used was just my brain and like just what I knew. I stopped learning. I didn't know what a fucking smart object was. I didn't know what masks did. Didn't care enough to even try to like learn how to do that. I just did it my way, and I just used all the like the bare minimum knowledge basically to get editing. And I just stopped learning and just stopped caring about art, stopped caring about designing. I just started going, you know, doing sports, started doing jiu-jitsu, started getting into a lot of that. I was getting obsessed with jiu-jitsu actually. You know, my whole life was just jiu-jitsu for a bit, and I just stopped designing. And yeah, I had 2 business partners the whole time. They were just trying to like reel me out of this like rut and just trying to literally get just a design off of me, you know? So my finance guy, his name is Savi, and he was just calling me over and over, yo Hugo, I need a design, bro, please. He would literally say please, because he wanted me to just make something, because I was just not in the mood, you know, I was so lazy. At one point it got as little to as once a month almost. Like, you know, it'd be like once every 2 weeks I would go on Photoshop to do what I had to do, and then yeah, we were basically just restocking and kind of reusing, repurposing all of my previous work. It was a whole time in my life where it really taught me a lot about like, you know, your ego and all that boring stuff. But it doesn't matter. Fast forward, early 2024, I was walking into this store, right? The guy that was there, he was playing this song by YT. Low-key not underground anymore, but at the time he was an underground UK artist. And I was just like, well, what the fuck? This sample is crazy, right? And I honestly, yeah, I just searched up one of the lyrics. And I found the song, and I'm like, yeah, this is fire. So I just started listening to it for a little bit. And eventually, I stumbled across the music video for a similar song by him. It's called Black and Tan. I watched this music video, and at the time, like obviously nowadays in the modern, in 2025, in October 2025, you see it everywhere. You see the Frutiger arrow, you see the nostalgia, but I'm the problem for that as well. I'm not really helping that because I do some similar stuff. But especially this, I think it's called Frutiger Metro or something. I'll show you this. You've 100% seen this before. You've probably seen it like 100 times. If you're watching this video, you'd be in the design space and you'd be kind of like consuming that type of content. I guarantee you've seen it before. But this was the first time that I saw it, right? Like, I just was so impressed because when I was watching the video, I was just kind of like, I was given this sense of obviously nostalgia, but the specific sentence I said in my head, it was just like, I didn't know you could do this shit. You know, I don't know how to explain. That's the only way I could like kind of explain what I was thinking. It was just, I didn't know you could do this shit. I didn't know you could like make art like this. That was a big factor, I think, for me starting my design account. What happened as well was I was, you know, after listening to that UK thing, I was getting just increasingly into like the whole UK underground and then eventually the American underground. I think a lot of people went through the same thing. Like, it's not really that special of an experience. Yeah, I was listening to YT and Savior So Based. Yeah, from YT I just kind of like expanded into like Fimi to Len, Lancy, all those people in that space. And I was also listening to Savior So Based, And then that made me just expand my whole, like the entirety, like the US underground. Now I know a lot of you people probably are thinking like, fuck, I can't listen to that shit, I can't listen to it. Like that shit's just so stupid. I don't know why you would listen to that. I would never listen to this alone. Like I've heard it all, bro. All my friends have said that to me. Like 90% of my friends have said that to me when I tried showing them. But the point is, that stuff really it just changed my perspective on like creating art. It made me just more open-minded, and it was just kind of inspiring. A lot of them were my age. That was the craziest bit. A lot of them were my age. If not, they were like slightly younger than me. That pushed me to like, just pushed me to kind of like start making shit, because, bro, what the fuck? These guys are like my age. What are you talking about? Like, they're doing all this stuff. So I just kind of like got that competitiveness a little bit back. Just thinking like, yeah, I want to make some cool shit too, you know? In my own way. I'm not really trying to make music, but you know, in my own way, I'm trying to like do my own shit. Maybe I should push this graphic design stuff even more. You know, I've come this far. There's no way I'm gonna just only get this far. I gotta keep going. I had that whole realization without even like noticing. And because of this, I was also, you know, following a lot of these artists, a lot of these artists that were kind of in that space. It just exposed me to the whole world, which I didn't even know was an actual thing. It's funny because I used to actually really hate the design community, the art community, and all those communities. Like I've always been into art. I've always been into all that stuff. I used to fucking have a Wacom tablet and I used to draw shit, right? But I don't know, something about it. I just hated the community. You know, I just hated the people that were in it, and maybe that was my ego at the time. But like, yeah, I was drawing shit and I just didn't like that community. You know, like the whole, like everyone's just low key a furry. First of all, do what makes you happy, but I don't really want to associate myself with people who, you know, like imitate animals and shit. Like, you're a furry watching this, whatever makes you happy, seriously. That was just what I was thinking at the time. But yeah, I started discovering this whole design world, and I was just like, what the fuck, this is crazy. I find a lot of like these cool artists which I didn't even know make fucking art like this. And then I just kind of was just observing how they all just kind of post what they're making. And it's not really like you have to educate people or whatever, like they're just posting their own shit, and I found that so cool. So I was like, yo, I want to do this too. I ended up making my account. Fun fact, this account was meant to be a jiu-jitsu account. I have some like posts of like competitions and stuff, like archived. But yeah, I repurposed it, and I ended up just posting my work from the past. Oh fuck, I have an assignment due. I'm not gonna do my assignment. Set a timer to do my essay. Alright, yeah, there I am. This is probably end of last year, end of 2024, and I was just posting, at the time I literally just posted everything I've designed that I really, like, I was proud of. I posted that on my design account, and I had only like 20 people, like my friends, follow it. You know, people who were like kind of rooting for me and my design stuff and enjoyed seeing it. I posted that, and I kind of just stopped posting anything because, you know, I wasn't really designing much shit. So yeah, I was just kind of sitting there until eventually February. I was just doom scrolling, you know, like all of us do. I was just doing that, and I was looking at this design shit. This is on my design account, where I was like following a bunch of these. But yeah, somewhere around February, I was already following a bunch of accounts that were doing this art stuff. Eventually I was like looking at these tutorials. It'd be like, oh yeah, this is how you get this effect on this. I was just thinking to myself like, damn, that was a really, really complicated way to explain something so simple. Like that's what I was just like thinking in my head. You know, and no hate to them, like, bro, you're trying to teach people. I respect you and I commend you fully for that. Right? But I was just thinking, there's just better ways to explain this. And then it kind of hit me when I was like, man, that feeling of me just kind of like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that so quick. Like every time I saw art, I was just thinking, man, what if I just show people I can actually just do that, like that quick, that easy, you know? So I decided, fuck it. I'm gonna like make some videos and stuff. So I started just making videos, and the title of the videos were Swag University of Design. This is the logo. And I was just like, fuck it. Let's just let's just pump out these tutorials and see what happens. You know, I feel like I could gain a pretty decent following from this. So I was just doing that. I would literally just wing it on video, and I'd be like, so then you gotta do this, so then you gotta do that. But I didn't even do it before. I was just teaching it as I was kind of learning it. But yeah, that eventually started getting traction. I started doing like album covers, like, oh, this is how you do your album covers. We finally caught up to the question, which is, how do you grow your page? / how do you plan on continuing growing? So this is where we're at now. This is how I grew my page. I was just making tutorials, you know, being like, yo, I showed my face. That was the scariest, and like, that was the most annoying, just, like, I don't know, I just felt like that shit was what I hated the most about this, but I knew I had to do it if I wanted to get big. If I wanted people to like see my stuff and they'll just scroll past, you know, I had to show my face. But that's what I was doing. I was just posting like a video every other day of me teaching some shit. I was just thinking to my head, like I was just scroll through like Pinterest or something, or even Instagram, and I'll just be like, oh, I can make that. You know what, I'll make a video right now of me making that. I kept on posting those videos, and eventually I started like, I had some videos kind of blow up, you know, like every time I woke up each morning, I'd gain like 200 followers. And I was just like, what the fuck's happening? You know, people are kind of like catching on. Yeah, sometimes I had like some hate comments being like, oh, there's like better ways of doing this, or like, oh, I can't even remember. I actually can't even remember the hate comments anymore. Yeah, I can't even remember the hate comments anymore. There was like this many good comments, this many hate comments. So it doesn't really matter. And then, whoa, fucking pasta's blowing up. Yeah, just kept doing this, kept posting, kept replying to comments, kept, you know, so many people DM'd me. They were like, yo, I'm trying to go to graphic design uni. I had some conversations with a lot of people that were really into my stuff. Yeah, I keep doing this. I kind of just continue my process. I'll just record videos and I'll just voice over them, or like I'll just be talking as I did the video. And I ended up racking 10,000 followers within like a month and a half. But yeah, when I looked at that 10K on my Instagram, I honestly wasn't even that happy. I was just like, damn, I did it, now what? You know, I kind of just, I literally hit it and I just stopped caring. You know, and I was like, what the fuck, like, why am I not that proud, you know? I realized the reason why I felt that way was because people were kind of viewing me as a teacher, which I didn't really like. Like, people kind of viewing me as kind of like a person to gain information from, or gain advice from, or gain, you know. When I made work and I posted my own work just to post, people would comment being like, yo, tutorial? Yo, can we get a tutorial on this, bro? Yo, could you like show me how to do this shit? I mean, I don't really give a fuck. I can show people how to make stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. But it was just the fact that like my own self-expression, my own like, you know, creative outlet was getting mistreated. Is how I felt. I felt like I was pouring my heart out into some of this stuff I found, you know, and I felt like it's kind of like a backhanded compliment when you just like left with the whole, like literally just tutorial question mark. Like, I don't know, that just didn't really feel so fulfilling. You know, I asked some friends, I was like, yo dude, what if I just stopped doing tutorials? Most of my friends are like, why would you change it, bro? Like, your shit's working, just keep going. Like, it's working though, I don't know why you would like just abandon that. So I thought about it and I was like, damn, yeah, I'm just gonna delete all my tutorials. Just deleted all my tutorials off my account. My account was dead for like a week and a half, like 2 weeks. I didn't even make a post about it. I didn't even post being like, yo, I'm not doing any more tutorials, I didn't even make any posts like that. I didn't go like, unfollow me if you want, I don't care. Like, none of that. I just stopped posting tutorials and I just switched everything and started, I wanted to develop my own art. I want to learn again, not teach. I haven't even learned that much. I wanted to learn myself, you know, so I stopped doing all that. And now I just had so much more time. I just realized like, damn, I can really just sit here and make what I want. I made this one piece that I was really, really proud of, and that was like the longest time I sat down and like continued to make my work. Because usually I would like just wrap it up ASAP. I would like think, okay, this is done. I'd do it all in one sitting, but I forced myself to stop, you know, just finishing it so quickly. So I just kept on thinking to myself, it's all finished, dig deeper. Yeah, that I posted. Relatively compared to my tutorial videos. It didn't get that many views. It didn't get as much engagement. But yeah, it didn't really matter to me because I realized this new feeling where it's like, I don't even care if this isn't recognized that much, because with that work that I made, with that piece, I really just felt like fulfilled myself. You know, like, I don't mean to sound like a hippie about it, but I just felt like I was content because I've kind of made it for myself. And I was just like, damn, this is cool. Now I have this on my belt. I like this. You know, if I want to show people I make art, I show them this. You know, and that was enough for me. And that was what opened my eyes, and I knew, okay, shit, I am not going back to any of that bullshit. I'm not going back to making these fucking tutorials. No shame if you make tutorials right now, by the way. I don't mean to like. I just started posting my own work. I continued to post my own work, and I was doubting myself a little bit. Like, oh man, like you gained 10,000 followers. What makes you think that like people would stick around? You know. And I still had that in the back of my head, like, oh man, maybe I should have just continued with the tutorials. Maybe I should have continued doing all, you know, what I was doing before. And that doubt stayed in my mind until I hit 20K. If you factor out the fact that some people probably unfollowed me and stuff, it'd probably be more. But in my head, it was 10K that followed me because of my tutorials, and it was 10K that followed me because of my own work. That's how I kind of like viewed it in my head. This point when I hit 20K was when I was like, yo, what the fuck? I actually have done it. I have made this community that like my work for my work. You know, it changed the whole perspective I had on my design account. It had changed my whole perspective on my capabilities. You know, I was just like, damn, I can't believe that actually happened. And this just pushed me to make even more work, to kind of like, you know, just continue what I was doing and not really caring anymore about like, oh, what if this, what if that. Like, I just did what I felt like. I just followed my gut. You know, I didn't really focus too much on the cost benefit of everything. And I think it paid off, because now I'm on 35K, so it is well over the amount of people that followed me for just my tutorials. And yeah, I've been happier than ever about it. You know, just pushing on. If you want to know about how I grew my account, like the technical jargon behind how I grew my account, it was literally just reels, carousels on Instagram, and posted on TikTok as well, and just kind of just tried to like, you know, fester contents. I was just trying to figure out what works, what didn't work, and I just, you know, kept doing what works, and then just experimenting. And you know, with my own art after my tutorials, I just continued to just make my own work. I don't know. I really don't know how I grew my account after my tutorials. I just kind of was just being myself, trying to be myself as much as possible, be as genuine as possible, because realistically, yeah, holy fuck, doesn't it just like kind of make your brain tired with how much you see like these, I'm 16 and I am a 7-figure business owner, like you see so much of this bullshit. You kind of feel refreshed when you see someone just be real. You know, it's just like, damn, finally someone that isn't trying to fucking, you know, twist my perception of the world. Just be yourself and just put something meaningful into the world, and just think, yo, am I putting out garbage to this world, or am I putting out something, you know, that brings value? That's, you know, that should be your compass. And then just keep consistent. That's literally, I know it's like the most basic advice ever, but you know, there's a reason why everyone says it, because it's just so true. It's just so unbelievably true. And I'm like, just keep posting. It doesn't mean you have to post every day. Just post like once a week. Just consistently post once a week. Continue posting once a week. Don't post once a week for 2 weeks and then stop. That's not consistency. You know, just post like something and keep your work out there, because the reality is, I know, bro, I know what you're feeling. You hate doing this shit. It feels corny, it feels stupid, but you're just as good as you can market yourself, you know. Obviously, you're not gonna see fucking, you know, like I know it's unfair, you know. Oh, Van Gogh didn't have to like fucking do Instagram reels. Basquiat didn't have to do Instagram reels and show his shit, like didn't have to do Instagram reels and go like, this is my work. Like, he didn't have to do that, but the times are different, bro. Like, Basquiat didn't have Instagram Reels to fucking doom scroll on, did he? Like, it's different. You have to, like, yeah, you can sit down and complain about that, but just that whole corniness and all that, bro, that can just get wiped off the internet. The internet forgets, you know, most of the time of that type of stuff. Like, if you just go and make your own work and you just kind of like posting on Reels about it, you can literally do what I did. Most people don't even know that I did tutorials when I was doing my work, you know. Some people are like, yo, how did you get your start? How do you have 30K? Like, most of them don't even know that I was making tutorials. And I thought that was the corniest shit ever when I was making tutorials. But I just wiped that off the internet. Obviously, there's probably some way to find that piece of content and stuff, but, you know, it got me to where I'm at, and I don't regret it, because now I have a platform, and now I can, like, show people my work. That's how I grew my page. That answered that question. How do I plan on continuing to grow my page? In my head, the way I kind of, like, structure it is I should have 3 things. This is in just my design world. It's 3 different things. You have over here the commissions, and you have the work that's kind of actually driving you in money. You should be putting some effort into finding clients. You should be, like, you know, DMing people. You should just try and connect. And then there should be another portion here where it's your mini projects that are, you know, not shit, obviously, but presentable, but not try hard. Like, you don't want to try hard this middle bit at all. You kind of want to just, you know, have fun with it and just show that you can do things, right? This would be the stuff you post, you know, every now and then, just to kind of practice. This is low-key your practice spot. And then you have the big long-term project, which is something you want to sort of like build towards slowly. That way you can show your potential, right? So it's the money coming in, the connections with the clients and stuff, and building that rapport with your clients and building that client base. You have your mini projects to kind of present to people to show what you're doing right now and what you're practicing on. And then you have your big projects, which show your potential, show what you're capable of fully. If you have the time and someone gives you the money. Yeah, if you don't have clients, if you don't have commissions, don't even think about that. Just think about your presentable projects and think about your long-term projects. Kind of just have those 2 burning at the same time. You know, you wanna have the. I'm not even fucking cooking anymore. I'm just yapping. Think of it like these are like some doodles and sketches. This is your fucking masterpiece that you're really proud of and you would frame up on a wall. That's kind of how I think of it. That's just kind of how I operate. And in terms of like growing your account, start, like, if you're a small creator and you're trying to grow your account, you should be following and supporting other small creators. Like, if you're gonna be the underdog in your story, you know, you can't just be alone on it. Just drop your ego, you know, and just start supporting each other. You can grow a network of small artists and stuff and slowly lift each other up. You know, you can comment on each other's posts, you can share it. Like, there's so many ways to kind of like fester growth. Drop your ego. Don't think you're better than everyone. Like, bro, do you think Michelangelo could just DM Leonardo da Vinci and be like, yo, I fuck with your work, bro, like, you should like cook off sometime? And it's like, bro, that's not happening, you know, they'd be sending fucking pigeon letters and shit. But yeah, my point is, it's never been so accessible to do that type of shit, to just connect, to just, you know, meet people. I have met the most talented artists. If you go through my Instagram, you look at my following, it is filled with so many talented people. I've met just a countless number of them, and some of them I just envy so much that I wish I could do what they're doing, you know. It's crazy, you'll go through so many of these full circle moments, and it's just, like, how much you're capable of will just blow your mind. It's crazy, because for me, it's only the beginning, you know. I haven't even like fully experienced it. That's my full answer to that question. Jesus, how long has this been? I'm actually just gonna be here forever. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna make a video while I'm cooking again. This is fucking stupid. Oh my god. I'm gonna end this thing so I can actually just finish up and I can do my fucking essay.